Hi, my name's Paul Baines. I'm Professor of Political Marketing at Cranfield University and co-author of Marketing by Oxford University Press. In this next sequence, we interview Manfred Bortenschlager, the Market Development Director behind 3scale.net. And 3scale.net is a company which develops APIs, application programming interfaces, which are really the backbone behind e-commerce and m-commerce. And in this case, Manfred highlights the strategic options the company faced when faced with a serious competitive threat.
Hi, my name is Manfred Bortenschlager. I work for 3scale and we are providing API management solutions. At 3scale, my role is API Market Development Director, and that means basically that I help growing 3scale into different markets by thought leadership pieces and by establishing new and exciting partnerships. So 3scale is an internet technology company, and we're in the business of selling an API management product on the internet. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, and it's essentially a software technology which allows companies in a novel and very effective way to distribute and leverage the digital assets. A good analogy would be, for instance, a security door to a building, which also has some security mechanisms, like, for instance, chip cards, which only allows authorized personnel to enter the building. And that's essentially the same what APIs are doing. And you could see the building as a company, for example, which offers services, which could be, as an example, e-commerce. So in a way, APIs enable this use case of e-commerce, for example. So the benefit of an API is it provides a very clean interface to a company's digital assets. Traditionally, companies, they have their source of information, they have the digital assets, and then they build some sort of channel on top of it. This channel can be, for example, a website. Another channel can be a mobile application, or a second mobile application, or a third mobile application. And all those channels, they directly access this data, this company data. And the more applications, the more websites a company has, the more complex it gets to maintain all this infrastructure. The beauty or the elegance of an API is that you build this API on top of the company's data, and then the various channels like websites and mobile applications, they access the API and not the data itself. So the whole thing becomes a lot more manageable, it becomes more effective, and also cheaper for the organization. That's the benefit of an API. So the founders of 3scale are Steve Willmott and Martin Tantow. They founded 3scale in 2007. This was basically the consequence of a fairly big European research project. And they noticed that there is a certain need for APIs, but there was nothing similar in the market. So they decided to spin out the company out of the university. That was the University of Barcelona. The original idea was actually a marketplace which allows API providers and API consumers to matchmake their services. So this was the original business model that lasted for a short while, and then they did a pivot and decided to provide this current API management product, which basically adds management capabilities to an API. So basically 3scale has three main competitive differentiators. The first one is a fairly technical competitive advantage, which is that the 3scale product, inside the way it's built, is very modular. And for some of those modules, we are using cloud technologies. And it's up to the customer and the customer's requirements to use cloud technologies or also use the 3scale product on-premise. And with that, we provide unmatched flexibility, scalability, and availability for the customer. A second competitive differentiator is that 3scale has the shortest time to value in the market compared to all our competitors. We have a very strong self-service model. So basically, customers can sign up for the product on our website and then go through the whole integration process all by themselves and really quickly. So this is a matter of hours or days, depends on how complex the infrastructure is. And the third competitive advantage is that we have a very transparent and fair pricing model. This is a so-called freemium subscription model, which means it starts as a free base plan where customers get some basic services, and the more services they require, the more expensive the product gets. And that's always based on a monthly subscription. So there are no surprises, and the customer gets exactly what they want, and it scales up and down the way they need it. And our pricing is fairly competitive compared to the other main players in the market. There are probably different phases. So the whole market of APIs is still very small and very new. At the beginning, one threat we had, it was a new idea. So organizations, customers didn't necessarily understand the benefit of it. So our job was basically to help customers understand and then eventually adopt this idea. So there was a lot of market education which needs to be done. I think we're still in that phase in a way, but we have, I think, achieved a critical mass. So for example, we are the biggest player in the market. We have 700 customers. There are 4 or 5 other competitors which have similar amount of customers. So I think we have a critical mass achieved. So I think we have overcome this threat. Now a new threat, since this idea of APIs has been established more and more, is that now bigger players come into the market. So those players like Intel, IBM, or Microsoft, and of course they have different financial resources than we have, and they could basically just push it out of the market. We're seeing this a little bit, but I think our benefit is that we have a fairly strong position in the market as a first mover, and also our brand is fairly established and well known in the market. So that's the benefit we have, and I think we're in a fairly solid position there. Yes, so the marketing problem was that that's related to competitive threat. So we all know Amazon, which started out as an online bookshop, but now they are disrupting other areas in different markets as well. And one good example is Amazon Web Services, AWS, which provides as a product cloud infrastructure or cloud technologies. And in July 2015, Amazon decided to launch a product where a lot of the observers of our market in the API space thought that they could disrupt this market as well. This product is called Amazon API Gateway. So that was the competitive threat, and a lot of our competitors, a lot of the observers and analysts thought that this would disrupt our market quite strongly. So after Amazon launched their Amazon API Gateway, basically we had 3 options. One option was to compete with Amazon. The second option was to find ways to collaborate with them. Or the third option would be just to do nothing and see what happens. And in fact, some of our competitors have chosen some of those options. We immediately after the product was launched, we analyzed the product, and we actually found out there is a lot of opportunity for us in actually collaborating with Amazon. We saw that the Amazon API Gateway product has a couple of really strong features which aren't that strong in our product. And on the other hand, there are some other features which were lacking. So we decided to bring those 2 products together, integrate the products, and then go to market together with Amazon. So that was our plan. We built a technical integration fairly quickly. So within a week, we had a first minimum viable product ready, which we presented to Amazon staff, which was very well received, I have to say. And then after a couple of weeks later, we had an integration ready. And with that, we went to market together with some co-marketing campaigns together with Amazon. So I would say there were 3 benefits of this joint launch together with Amazon. The first one was we got a lot of publicity, so a lot of press, a lot of positive press a small player like 3scale partnering up with Amazon. So that was for us very strong and helped us also in terms of brand awareness. The second benefit, of course, was our product was adopted more often. So we gained more customers through this project. And I think a third benefit was that it strengthened our relationship with Amazon. So we are now an advanced technology partner of Amazon. So we are in a partnership with Amazon, which means that whenever they have future similar initiatives, I'm sure we will work together again with them. And that's, for the future, for us, very powerful. So yeah, at 3scale, we are very excited about the future. We know that although this market of API management is still small, it is growing very quickly. It's one of the fastest growing markets in this whole space of IT. 3scale within that market is growing very quickly. And we have some really exciting plans to expand more into APAC. So at the moment, we are focusing on Europe and North America. But we have some plans to grow into APAC and increase our presence there. And then a second growth area for us is to tap into other and new industry verticals. So API management as a technology is a horizontal technology. So it doesn't really matter in what vertical it's applied. We know we have a lot of success in the transportation vertical, for example, but we want to grow into other verticals where we're not that much present yet.